Welcome back to the Coins and Connections podcast, where we explore all things books, business, and bullshit. My favorite bees. I'm your host, the fairy coin mother, Cinquanta Cox-Smith of www.cinquantacoxsmith.com. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the Coins and Connections podcast, season 5, episode 5. Today we are going to talk about tips to conquer your day, okay? Everybody have their own little tips and tricks and tools. I just want to share a few of the things that help me keep myself going. It feels like I have a lot of businesses, but really I do not. I just have Coins and Connections. It's just my podcast, my YouTube channel, and then most of my educational products that I do have. It's not a lot. It may look that way, but I have a print on demand business that has branches, okay? It's the print on demand business, and it just happens to be on different platforms, okay? So it looks like a lot, but to me, because I've been doing it for so long, it's very easy for me to maintain it. But for someone on the outside looking in who is new to print on demand and does not have that workflow or that easy way to consistently upload or keep things intact, you're probably like, girl, how do you do that? I'm going to give you guys some of the tips that I have, but the biggest thing that I can tell you is do what works best for you. Of course, I'm going to give tips in this episode. Feel free to walk away with some of it. Feel free to leave some of it. It is up to you. But we are on episode 5. That means we are halfway already through the season. Time flies when you're having fun. Again, I want to thank y'all for just tuning in and rocking with me every Friday at 7 a.m. EST. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you leave a review. This helps other people to understand what I be talking about, why they need to listen, and why my information is quality. It is just great information and it's timeless. You can listen to it a year or two from now and be like, wow, that really hit me, or that really stuck with me. I do want to continue to bring you guys great quality content and great interviews. So you know what time it is. It's time for our rapid fire questions of the day. I have 2 rapid fire questions of the day. The first one is, if you were a candy bar, which candy bar would you be, and share why? So it has to be a chocolate candy. I love chocolate. I'm obsessed with chocolate. Recently, I've been eating a lot of Reese's. My first love is like Payday. That's not really chocolate, but I like to eat the peanuts off of the Payday and then eat. Now I'm going to want a Payday. It'll be between a Crunch Bar and a Score. I don't know if you guys know what a Score is. Like it's like this caramel block with chocolate, like it's dipped in chocolate. It's so good. So yeah, between a Score and a Crunch. But yeah, I'm definitely going with chocolate. I don't know why. It could be because the Crunch has the little beady chocolate flakes in your mouth that are really good to just suck on. I don't know where this is going, but like the Score is really good too. I like to take my teeth and pull the chocolate off. See, this is why do we have to go here? But next question. If you were to change your name, what name would you adopt going forward? I would not change my name. Honestly, because I feel like it fits me. I feel like it's unique. And I've struggled all my life to have people pronounce it correctly. I'm going to stick with it. There is a restaurant in Italy named Cinquanta. So my biggest goal in life is to eventually go to Italy and eat dinner at Cinquanta, the restaurant in Italy. If anyone wants to help me sponsor a trip to Italy, my cash app is money sign Cinquanta. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So yeah, I would definitely keep my name, not changing it. It was meant for me, and it suits me really well. All right, tips to conquer your day. My first bit of advice is brain dumps are necessary. They're necessary. These can happen at night when you think about all of the things you wish you did earlier that day, or all of the things that you wish you got done, but you completely forgot about, especially when you're a work at home mom. You want to do the dishes or you want to do the laundry, and then the half the day goes by, but the only thing that you can really focus on is cooking dinner. You completely just forgot about all of the other things. That's kind of like what you use for your brain dump. Okay, I'm going to put a load in and finish that today. Sometimes we can't. We have to take time to recognize that Rome wasn't built in a day and we are not superheroes. So sometimes it might take us longer to get tasks done because we have so much on our plate. The brain dumps are also good for when you just think of things you want to accomplish the following day. If you are somewhat like me, you wake up out of your sleep or you're laying down and something comes to you super fast and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to write this down so I don't forget. I live off of brain dumps. Okay. They show up in my phone notes, in my shower notes, or even on a scrap sheet of paper that is next to my bed. Brain dumps help me to splue out everything that I can think about in that moment that I know if I don't write it down, I'll forget. Once my brain dumps are usually out, which could happen throughout the day, I wake up and the next day and I'm able to take my brain dumps and I prioritize them into lists, and my lists normally have levels to them, and it's always level of importance. If no one is going to die if I don't wash this laundry, that can go further down the list. If I know I need to go to the store and get this extra thing for dinner, that's a high priority on the list, because by the time that the whole day goes by and I don't get this thing for lunch, then for dinner, then what are we going to eat? If I have to make this meeting or call somebody or have an appointment, that's on a higher level of importance on my list. I normally go and break my list down to 3 times of the day: morning, afternoon, and evening. Then I allow myself to put at least 3 things in each slot. Now, that does not mean I'm only going to do 3 things in each slot. You know what time of the morning or evening, what you can do in the morning, what's better suited for an afternoon after you get that first boost of energy out, and what's better suited for you to do in the evening. So when you prioritize your list, you're prioritizing it in the list of importance in the morning. Okay, my very important things here and the least important things there. So that means if I don't finish all of my morning things on that day, I can move them over to the next day because they weren't that important for me to do on that day. So it's okay if it spills over into the next day. Allowing myself to do 3 things at a time helps me to not focus on the 20 things that I have done, but focus on those first 3 things. And if I get those 3 things done, I have time to continue to work through that priority list for the morning. That just helps me to know that, okay, I'm on schedule. I'm actually ahead of schedule. I can squeeze in 1 or 2 more things to accomplish my goals for this day. I sweep through that list in the morning and now I'm done. So those are things I don't have to worry about until I have a new brain dump list. Okay. Make sure you also take breaks. This is necessary. Refresh your drain, get up and stretch. Make sure you're comfortable and you're still energized to take on whatever is on your list. You want to be able to tackle it, but you want to be able to tackle it feeling good, positive energy oozing out of you throughout your workday. Also, if you never have time to write things down or like that method, I think trying to record voice notes on your phone or via your computer, there are so many apps to just help you stay organized. It might not be the notes, it might not be writing it down. It might be like Airtable or one of these other scheduling apps or Basecamp or whatever. There's so many out there that you can use. ClickUp, I think that's one too, that will help you keep your day in order. So feel free to these little tips and apply it to whatever software or app that you're using, but still use it like that, but just in those apps. That is also good because I think in some of those apps you can upload your voice notes, and especially if you're working with a team and you have a team and sometimes it's hard for you to consistently keep up with your to-do list and sending a voice note to your team, and then you have someone who deciphers and put things in order. That is amazing as well. Still, it's a tip to help you conquer your day. The most important thing is to fuel your body. So food, coffee, tea, or some source of protein to keep you moving your brain, to keep you moving, keep your brain functioning and not fog. So this is, you need to be clear, level-headed, and ready. Okay, you need to be ready at all times to just get these things done. I have sticky notes. I have the manifestos coin sticky notes. If you guys want to purchase those, I have sticky notes in my journals, on my desk, on my wall. They're everywhere, but it helps me to stay focused on certain things. I also use a journal. I create a few. I have a few on Amazon. I also have my daily planner journal that helps me, and it actually has that morning, afternoon, uh evening list in there, along with it, like a to-do list, and then just quotes, affirmations, things, money goals, stuff like that, that's in the daily planner journal, and that is also available on Amazon. So those are some of the things that I use in my life that helps me to stay consistent when I am struggling. Most of the times when the days come that I have a clear plan, this is when I normally make the most of my day, because there's a clear plan and a goal, and I do get a lot done. If you are like me and your mind wanders and you get distracted, and all of a sudden you see Megan Thee Stallion twerking on Instagram, I'm sorry, I'm like that. Okay, so now I know, but that there are, now I also know that there are many apps out there that will help you not pick up your phone as much to watch Meg twerk, or watch the City Girls and JT run around with Uzi, or to pick up your phone as much. The iPhone also has that tool where it places limits on the apps. So those are some of my favorite tips. And then in my prime advice is to just delete the damn apps and keep it moving. Because that is what definitely helps me stay on track, by deleting those apps and not even thinking about it. Okay. So if you're bold like that, and you have time and it's easy for you to do that, delete the apps. Some of these tips are probably familiar to you, or they sound super easy, but sometimes we just need a reminder that we can accomplish more than we give ourselves credit for. And here is your burst of, girl, you got this, okay? Just sit down, breathe easy, and get it done the way you enjoy the most, okay? So I am cool with giving advice that is not always taken, but I'm also open to trying new ways to stay organized. So if you guys have any other tips, please feel free to drop them in my email, hello@coinsandconnections.com. Or if you have a story or a question about books, business, and bullshit, feel free to send that in. But this wraps up. Feel free to send that in. So this wraps up our tips to conquer your day.
Explore that niche.
Explore that niche. So today your niche will be teacher. You can go about this a few different ways, but today we're going to talk about creating products for teachers based on the subject they teach, and then also based on the grade they teach. The end of the school year is coming around. Teacher paraphernalia is huge, no matter whether they do a school fundraiser or they want to dress like their teams. Teacher shirts are always good to do something. Maybe learn, grow, teach, repeat, something like that. Or you could do best fifth grade teacher ever. In the teacher thing, you can do something based on Halloween for the seventh grade, Halloween for the history teacher. There's so many different ways that you can look at this niche.
This segment is called Q Money Bag Start of the Week.
Today in the Q Money Bag Start of the Week, we are going to talk about why I stopped seeing my last therapist. So I don't know if I mentioned it, I probably did, but I started seeing a new therapist kind of right away when I moved here. Now my dad's calling me. Awesome. So obviously I don't know what I was talking about because my dad called. But that is like the joy of working from home. That's what happens when I'm recording a podcast or a YouTube video. Things happen. But on the subject of why I stopped seeing my last therapist is because I feel like she was more into what I had going on, as in like a business owner. Like she was also a sex therapist. So when I talked about I wrote erotic short stories, she was very interested in that. And then I think I talked about how I was doing well on Clubhouse. And then she was like, "Oh, send me a request." And I was just like, "Yeah, no." And it became more about me and what I did than the healing part of it. And I just don't like that. I feel like my last therapist, who was really good, shout out to you, Sade, she was interested in what I did, but not in a fascinated way. Oh, wow. Oh, teach me, or oh, how did you do this? I didn't like that some questions came off from this new therapist as in, oh, tell me about your new book that you're writing, or how did you, it felt more like a consultation. Like I wasn't being, I wasn't in therapy. I felt like I was doing a consultation sometimes. And that could have just been me. But after maybe 3 or 4 sessions, I just didn't feel the connection there. And I'm telling you guys this because that does not mean there's something wrong with you. That just means that this therapist wasn't a good fit for me. So it's never, and it's hard for me to jump back on the wagon when I'm disappointed. I hate rejection, things like that. Like the same thing that happened with me in Virginia when I first got a therapist. She was very nonchalant. She was always late. She was yawning and eating and stuff during our sessions. And I didn't get anything from that. I just felt like I was just talking just to talk. And I didn't feel like I was able to be open. But then when I found another therapist, I was able to be completely open. Transformation happened, healing happened, and I went through the necessary steps because I found someone who not only was a good therapist, but asked the right questions to get me to open up even more. One thing about therapy is when you go, you need to be open and willing. If you lie into your therapist, like, what's the point of therapy? You need to be super open about every single thing that you can. And I know there's stages to that. You may not be as comfortable yet. You may get there. It may be a day you don't want to talk about that certain subject, but you'll get there. So therapy is definitely like a two-way street. You have to have a good therapist who knows what they're doing to bring that out of you, but you also have to trust who you are putting your healing and dedication and time into. So my new therapist, she got it right away with an issue or conflict I had, and she was able to give me some tools to fix that situation right off. I am only going into my second, I don't know by the time y'all listen to this, I'm probably only going to be on my second session because I had to cancel one because of my parents came and we were going someplace. I remember what we talked about, and I can still take that advice and apply it to a situation that comes up like this. It made me feel good about the decision to go ahead and continue to book with her. You get what I'm saying? So when you get that connection, and I'm just here now, I've done most of the healing. I'm just here now trying to maintain and understand and continue to work through the things that I've learned. Sometimes there's roadblocks. We understand a lot, and when we understand more, we know better, so we do better. So I can physically see things that are not right or things that don't sit well with me now because I've gone through that healing process. I've recognized certain things are not right, or I've recognized how I want to be treated, how I want to be spoken to. So now when I'm in them situations, they look different. They look different from me just curling up in my shell to being vocal and being able to speak up more for myself. Because there was a time where I would dim my light. There's a time where people were like, oh, you're doing too much. And then when I'm not doing that, it's, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? So there's so many levels to learning more about yourself, learning how to discern what type of people you want in your life, and just growing. And when you grow, things start to change around you. Your family does not understand your growth. Sometimes your significant other does not understand your growth. And sometimes that's another thing you have to work with. But a lot of times we start to heal ourselves, and the people who are around us haven't been through the healing. So those relationships start to look different, but you can only do the work for yourself. And when in time, if there's something that you can share with those people around you, that could help them understand or help them get on the path to their healing, I think it's necessary. Like sharing certain things with my husband, we've been able to have conversations that has helped him in his life, even though he hasn't gone to therapy. Me going to therapy and having these conversations or talking about things that I've learned has helped him. It's helped our communication. There's certain things that he learns in the army when they're doing certain trainings that he can bring back to me that can also help me in my life. So again, this is like a team effort, and healing and growing and growth and doing the work is not a one-time thing. It is a continuous door that continues to open. It's not, we don't want to be on a roller coaster of doing the same thing over and over again. We want to get better, go through it, learn from it, make better choices, and be better people. So my whole goal was just to be a better friend, be a better spouse, be a better parent, and be a better person to myself. So once you define what you want out of therapy, you need to go in there, tell that to your therapist, and then be honest, open, and get it done. Okay. So it's okay if you go through 3 therapists, that those 3 just weren't for you. And maybe on the 4th try, you find the best therapist of your life. So for me, it's hard because when I move to a different state, I can't always have the same therapist just because of laws. So some of you may have an advantage if you're actually stationed or if you're actually in a place in your life where you're going to be there for a while because you can actually build a longer, stronger connection with your therapist, and you have more time to hop from therapist to find your one. So I hope this helps you guys understand that it's okay. Don't stay in a relationship with your therapist if it's not working. Feel free to break up with your therapist. Feel free to move on. Feel free to find someone else. So that is just my tidbits of today. So until next time.
Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to the Coins and Connections podcast. Don't forget to leave a review and join the conversation over on Facebook and Instagram using the hashtag Coins and Connections. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Cinquanta Cox-Smith and at Coins and Connections. You can shop all merch at www.coinsandconnections.com. I love you more than I love this podcast. Peace.